Hey guys, Nate and Scott from PlayYourCourt.com. Today we're going to show you how to hit the semi-western if you're just starting out.
Semi-western what?
Forehand.
Semi-western forehand.
Forehand.
All right, guys, talking about the semi-western forehand today for you super advanced players. This video is not really for you. We're talking about players with a player court rating of 60 and below. If you don't know what that rating is, it's because you're not inside of our community, and that's your fault, not ours.
Shame on you.
Click the button, check the community out. We'll hook you up with all kinds of stuff. Check it out. It's definitely worthwhile. The semi-western forehand grip, the fundamental grip for all that is forehand.
Yeah, some of you guys.
Because I guess.
Yeah, this guy's still playing with an Eastern.
Because I'm old school, I guess.
But you learn from some of the hits with an Eastern forehand, and there's nothing wrong with that. Eastern forehands can be really effective. But in today's game with the strings and the polys, we're starting to find the spin potential on these semi-westerns allow us to take the next step. And so maybe that's why you're watching this video. You're like, I just want to improve. Like, I feel like I've had the same forehand. I've been driving the Yugo. I want the
Driving the Yugo.
I know. He's young. He doesn't know what a Yugo is. It used to be a fairly unreliable card. Didn't really get top out over 60.
Learn something new every day.
So what ends up happening is that we kind of get stuck, and then it's harder to start to learn to drive the Porsche with all the torque and everything else. Here within our academy, we're starting everybody with this semi-western grip, and it's a struggle at first, but the awesome thing is within weeks, they start finding it, and then within months, they're super confident with it, and there's none of this transition. Yeah, so pros here, guys. Why do we want the semi-western? We said spin potential.
Spin potential.
100% spin potential. The ability to work under the ball. A lot of times where a ball is low line, we can really work through that forearm and get that big twist and turn to get that ball moving over. We see it on the dipper, right?
There's a lot more maneuverability on approach shots when you're closer to the net. Like when I have that Eastern forehand grip up tight to the net, I kind of have to slap, and that doesn't always work depending on how low or high the ball is.
That's absolutely right. And what we're starting to see now, the ability to take the ball above the shoulder and still keep that ball super aggressive with heavy penetrating spin. We're starting to see, obviously, the Nadal forehand and whatnot, and we're even starting to see a little bit more of the Western. But today is about the semi-western. So cons, what are the cons here on this semi-western?
I think some of the low balls sometimes you can struggle with as compared to, and we would just never coach continentals. This is kind of hypothetical, but if I had a continental grip, it'd be easier to get underneath the ball than with the semi-western. So low balls, I guess, are a little bit weaker than the Eastern forehand.
Definitely harder to flatten the ball out. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
That's an advantage that you have on your forehand over my forehand. The Eastern and the continental flatten out the ball a whole lot easier. So when you're trying to put the ball away, going back to what you said a moment ago, you can get through the ball, but if you're trying to angle the ball off the court, right, work the short corners, then it's a little bit harder.
For sure.
All right, so guys, step one, let's talk about what the grip actually is.
You've got some numbers on your racket
there.
Yes, I do. What's going on here?
All right. So the numbers are my racket. What they're indicating is the bevels on the grip. What you'll notice is that there's 8 sides to a grip, and if you turn the racket on its edge where you can see the manufacturer, you're going to find bevel number 1. As the racket turns, you'll see bevel 2, bevel 3, bevel 4, all the way over to bevel 8. You'll hear a lot of coaches to say make a V with your hand, specifically the index finger and the thumb, and place it on the racket as if you were picking up a frying pan. This isn't wrong, it just sometimes doesn't specify where the V goes. So for this particular video, what we're going to focus on is the index knuckle being on bevel 4, and then the heel pad being on bevel 4 as well. All right, a little trick here that you'll find is that by spreading the index finger away from the other fingers, you're going to allow yourself more flexibility through the wrist. I'll get ahead of it because I know I see comments all the time in videos.
Here come the haters.
Well, it's just for me particular, they'll ask what grip and like my hand position, what it's doing, and I've got a circumstance where I have this awesome scar.
Yeah, cut your damn arm off.
Nearly cut the arm off. But so I don't have the ability to spread my fingers quite like I'd like. So I end up a lot of times much tighter in this position. It's not preferred, but you can still make do. But as long as the racket is flat and you have that index knuckle on bevel 4 and the heel pad on bevel 4, you're going to be in a really good situation to start playing with that grip and find the edge of the racket in order to produce more topspin.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're within half a bevel as a coach, I'm happy. I just want to see that stability where your base knuckle and the heel of your hand is very, very close on the same bevel.
All right, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about, we have this semi-western grip. What is the first move? And let's show you some exercises that are gonna help you incorporate the semi-western grip into your game. All right, guys, so now that you have your semi-western grip, let's learn the steps on how to use it appropriately for the forehand. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get into something called pet the dog. All right, pet the dog is simply taking the racket back, and you'll notice the strings are to the ground, and I'm gonna take it back until I'm in this loaded position. All right, and this is important, okay, because you're not petting a small dog. It's not down here. A lot of times when I'm incorporating this, I'll see this in the ready position. We want to think of it like we're petting a large lab, right? Because when the racket gets to here, what ends up happening is I load my wrist, and this is really important, okay? Because this is going to allow us to get into something called the slot. That's right. Yeah, maybe you only been playing a year, but you just learned a cool word. It's going to help you with your forehand, and it's definitely a high performance term. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to face the racket out just a little bit. I want you to play with this, okay? So we're in pet the dog, but the slot operates when it gets a little bit behind our hip, all right? And so with the arm in this position, it has the ability to lag, all right? And the lag is as I start to rotate, the racket will hang back. But in the beginning, this is really difficult to find. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice stepping through the ball. We're gonna work through pet the dog, and then I'm going to step, and I'm gonna step into the ball where I'm using this hip to turn around. Okay, so one more time, maybe I'm already started sideways as I'm incorporating this, but as I go to hit the ball, I'm gonna step forward with my left foot, and as I make contact, I'm going to allow the right foot to come all the way back around. And this is teaching us how to use this right hip. All right, so that is the first step, the first two progressions. We have the pet the dog, and then number 2 is stepping through. Step 3 is really trying to find what it feels like to create momentum with the racket. So now we've upgraded. We traded in the lab. He's a great dog, but we got a Great Dane. All right, and so the Great Dane now is that same pet the dog position. We're gonna start up higher, okay? And we're working from here, but what you'll notice, I'm not talking about like this, I'm not straightening my arm out from the lab. I'm just going to work my way up to here, all right? And then still in this loaded wrist position, all right? Still with that semi-western. And what you'll notice from here, my racket now has the ability to drop. And instead of stepping through now, as I come through to contact, I want you to focus on getting to that toe. Because if you're getting to your toe, meaning your heel is coming off the ground, you're allowing your hip to work with the stroke. All right, and we know that we have to follow through, and from here I'm getting this full rotation. All right, so those are the steps, and I'm gonna finish by showing you a little drill that you can do that will help you find this spin. All right, we'll take a look at that now. All right, guys, so we've got the stroke, we've got the semi-western, but now something needs to happen at contact, and this is where we're talking about the pronation. What's gonna happen when you get out here and use this grip is that you're gonna swing and you're gonna find that your contact ends up on top, right? The ball is gonna bounce right down in front of you straight on the ground. So what I want you to remember is use your boosters, all right? If you're trying to launch a rocket, you need boosters, and the boosters are your legs to get under that ball. And then from here, we can talk about what the racket is doing, just like it would with the Continental or the Eastern, but we're really gonna put extra heavy emphasis on getting this pronation. And this is the drill I want you to practice. Taking the ball to the net and working through pronation. All right, after you feel pretty good with those and working through, you'll notice that thumb is down on the bottom where I've got this forearm turning, getting the wrist to pronate. We're gonna take a progression into the next exercise. We'll bring Scott onto film. And yeah, hey buddy. And I'm gonna work close within proximity. So Scott, if you can come on up. And if you have a buddy, awesome. If you don't, I could do this solo. It'll be a little bit easier. All right? You're gonna have to get in frame because what he's gonna do is he's gonna drop this relatively close to the net so it forces me to hit up on the ball. Okay, let's take a look at that now.
Oh, got that cart.
Yeah, I did. All right, so now give me a little bit of distance. So there, I'm having to time it a little bit as it gets above the net, which certainly allows me to be under the ball. But now I'm gonna play about a foot off the net, and I'm gonna get the ball as it ascends, use those boosters to lift low high. So I pet the dog and I work up. Pet the dog, big pronation. All right, last one, pet the dog, low high. I turn it over, I got the pronation, and that semi-western is ready to roll.
All right, guys, so quick recap. If you're just getting started with the semi-western forehand grip, remember, start with your strings pointing down, pet the small dog, climb the racket up, and remember the little net trick to make sure you're pronating up the back of the ball to get that ball up over the net.
Yep, just some little exercises, guys. It get you out of the gates and using this thing, but definitely worthwhile. It may take some time, don't give up. Remember, if you're hitting the ball straight down on the ground, use the boosters, get those legs bending and pushing up to get that ball to lift.
That's right.
All right. Guys, really hope you enjoyed today's instruction. Thank you for watching.
Don't turn the video off yet.
Look,
This is important.
them.
Pay attention. Don't you leave. I'm serious. Serious. Don't leave.
Let's see one person. But guys, yeah, if you like the video, please hit like. If you don't ever want to miss a video from Play Your Court, hit subscribe. And by all means, please check out the community. So much cool stuff there. Like I said, in previous videos, we have over 10,000 members that you can get out there for a practice match.
And that's
get in the
today,
Challenge League.
Depending on when they're watching. Probably by the time you see this, it'll be 11, 12,000 people.
Maybe 100.
Hundreds of members joining every day.
Check it out, guys. You're going to love it. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.